Like somebody in my M-Bus class was like, yeah, Tommy does my mastering. And I was like, oh
wow.
shit, that's sick. Yeah, Sean. I think his artist name is Shine.
Shine.
Yeah, I can't remember his last name, but he's very sick.
Nice. So, Cannon and the Boxes, thank you for joining me for an episode of On That Note. It's a blast to have you on. And
dude, glad to be here.
Yeah, let's start with why you picked one of my favorite albums of all time to present up here.
Big Wilco fan. Yeah. I love this record. It's kind of the cliche Wilco pick, you know what I mean? Like that's the one, but it's just so good.
But it's the best.
I've been listening to that record a bunch too, and like Poor Places. I feel like there's a lot of like slept on tunes. Like everybody's like playing Jesus, etc. But it's just a cool record. And yeah, I've been to Chicago a couple times, and I always just stare at those towers. I'm just like, oh
yeah, dude, I need to go just for that.
You'll see a lot of like dudes with beards taking pictures of them. It's like these are all Wilco fans.
100%. That's funny you say Poor Places, because the last two songs were always ones I never listened to for like years.
Oh yeah, it gets kind of wacky at the end there.
Yeah, and now those two are like I'm always stoked to listen to.
It's crazy. It's crazy too. Like we were just talking about the deluxe editions of those that have been coming out, but it's like. Some of those songs are kind of just like pop gems that they just kind of like roughed up. I don't know. There's so much variety on that stuff. I love like the first 4 Wilco records are like, it's insane that a band did that. Like AM Being There, Summer Teeth, Yankee Hotel. It's just like, ooh, that's a pretty good run.
Yeah, it's a pretty great run. And then on top of that, they still have awesome albums after that.
Oh, yeah. They just get
Sky Blue Sky and Schmilko.
I love Schmilko. I feel like that came out like what, 2015?
I think it might have been 2016.
Okay, I was in high school.
Around then.
I just remember that. And like I remember being in the band room at my high school the day that came out and just like skipping class to like listen to that record. There's some really good songs on that record.
Yes, dude. Normal American Kids and what's the big one from that? I'll never be alone.
Oh yeah, If I Ever Was a Child. There we go. Copyright
right.
Strike me, Jeff tweeted. No,
yeah. that album's amazing. I'm glad you picked some Wilco.
Hell yeah, dude.
And what's really interesting is that today, as we record this, it's the day before the release of your next single, which is a cover of Steve Earl, Transcendental Blues. And you know what's funny? That's the only Steve Earl song I know, and I literally love that song.
Heck yeah.
So
dude,
it's wild
that song is so good. Like it was like we tracked a record with Patrick at Racket Recording, like his studio, and I just had the Transcendental Blues CD in my car, and I've been listening to it, and I was like, this, because I'm a really big Steve Earl fan. Like Guitar Town, like his first record is one of my favorite records, and like I grew up really into him, and like went to see him when I was like a senior in high school, and it was like one of those shows where I was just like, wow, I gotta write some songs,
Yeah.
And just did that cover, and like honestly, like we didn't even change. We just played the song, we weren't trying to like reinvent the tune or anything, because it's just that good. Like just like a 1-4-5 blues kind of thing. I loved Gene Woolfolk play guitar on it, who's in Vincus, and he used to run Sound of the Caledonia, and he's my favorite guitar player. He's a phenomenal guitar player, and so he like laid down the nasty like leads and stuff. And yeah, it's a cool song. Like Steve Earl, I feel like is like a lot of people mention people around. Like I don't know, I feel like he's an underrated writer. I could be wrong. He's like madly famous.
He's not as big as.
No, it's crazy.
I feel like maybe he should be.
I feel like if you played Transcendental Blues for like a lot of people, they would be like, oh, this is sick. Even if they weren't in the country, they'd be like, oh, this is sick.
Well, what I love about your cover of it, because I was really curious to see what you would do, is you're right. You didn't reinvent the wheel exactly with the song. Like you didn't change it up too much, but you did kind of strip it back a little bit. It's like not as buzzed out, which I really like. It almost feels more like 2012 indie rock version of it.
Take it. That's where I live in my heart.
Yeah, dude.
But we want to like copy it. You know what I mean? Yeah. But there's so many like glitchy, fuzzy like blips and bloops in the original recording, and it was more just like when we tracked it, it was like me, Gideon, and Jordy just playing it. I think maybe I tracked the acoustic part first and then they played it, but like as live as we could, and then we just had Gene come in and like shred on it, and we didn't want to like, I don't know, I'm the worst at like just sitting there with like synths and stuff and be like, what can we add? Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's like nothing, just add nothing. You know what I mean? Just
really go down a rabbit hole when you do that.
Oh, and me and Patrick are, it's like everything on. There's like an organ in there. There's a bunch of synths. It's so easy to just be like, ooh.
Right.
But I'm really happy with how it turned out. That mix was. I mean, Patrick is like continually killing it too. Like he is.
Shout out to Patrick.
I love Patrick.
He's the man. Canary Affair. I'll get him on next.
Oh hell yeah! I mean, he's just like Canary Affair is an awesome band. That's his band. But I mean, just it's cool to see in it like. I have like friends that record, like Patrick would like has expressed, and like just friends that are trying to do the studio thing that are like, man, like I feel like I'm like in such an oversaturated market, you know, or just because there's so many amazing studios here in town. But it is cool that like everybody kind of does their own thing, and like Patrick's recorded like the Regulars and Florida, like just a bunch of like bands that I think are good and are playing shows and stuff, and it's just cool to see. Like everybody can kind of do their own thing. You know what I mean? Like I don't think he's stepping on Tommy's toes. I don't think they're stepping on David Barr. You know what I mean? Like everything is kind of just like chill. I'm glad that it can all coexist.
And what's cool is, at least to me, I feel like if you gave me a song from any random song that Patrick recorded and any random song that Tommy recorded, you gave me like 5 sets of each, I feel like I'd be able to identify which ones are which, because they have their own different sound to it. So you're right, you wouldn't step on their toes, because literally it's just different vibes, and you prefer one or the other.
It's cool too. It's nice seeing the homies make shit.
Yeah. So does it feel any different knowing that the next single you're putting out like is a cover? Like does it feel different at all?
Didn't think, like hadn't even considered that, and then like it's just it's less stressful for some reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's just like if they don't like it, it's not my song.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
But no, I mean it is definitely. I mean in terms of like it felt weird. I mean whenever any of us put a release out, you try to do the thing where you're like, I'm gonna try to find somebody to premiere it. I'm gonna do all this, and I was like, it's just us playing one of our favorite songs. Like I'm not gonna hit up Flagpole and be like, I mean I could, you know what I mean? But it seemed. It was like, this is no, I'm not trying to take it any less seriously because I love the song and that's why we're putting it out as a single and stuff. But it's like, I kind of just want people to hear it, you know?
Right.
It's not a
personal thing that's happened to you.
There's not that vulnerability of like, oh, this is a song that I'm like sharing with the world. Like obviously, you know,
it's your take on a song that you really care about.
I'm not trying to like discount what we did. We weren't just like copy pasting Steve Earl stuff into our playing. But yeah, it's a little bit less stressful, which is funny because I definitely didn't think it would be, or didn't consider that at all. And then I was like, oh, why am I not worried about this? I'm just gonna put it out, you know.
It's like a whole different, not skill set, but just different vibe, knowing that it's not your song, but it is your. People will compare it to something in a way,
for sure. Especially like my friends that are Steve Earl fans.
Right.
That's gonna be the first thing in their head is like, I don't know if this is. You know, just putting it up. Like Patrick didn't listen to the original until after we had like finished mixing the song because he never heard it. And I was
probably
like,
a good idea.
Well, I was like, do you want to listen to it? Like immediately when we started tracking, and he was like, nah, I don't think that I should. I was like, genius, dude.
That is really smart.
This is why Patrick knows what's up. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's funny. That's a good idea. I definitely would have been like, yeah, let's see what we're working with, but then it almost taints it a little bit. Yeah. And if you already know it, it's like. It doesn't matter that he doesn't know it.
And I think we might have ended up with a more like carbon copy of the original. You know what I mean? If he had that like in his head, so
yeah,
it worked out. But that's crazy that you're into that song, man. That it's a cool. I mean the warble. It kind of sounds like a Wilco song a little bit.
Yeah,
you know?
It kind of does. And like I said, that is literally the only song I know. I mean, I've listened to a couple others just because I really liked that one, and the rest didn't quite like stick out as much as me to that one. So. What would you say, like, okay, if you like this song, Transcendental Blues, check out this album or these songs because it's maybe closer related to that?
I would say a little bit less, like, glitchy and warbly, but, like, Copperhead Road was a really big record of his, and it's got a bunch of really good songs on it that are kind of, like, heavier, you know? Okay. His first record is a little bit more acoustic, but it's also, like, Guitar Town is just the title track on his first record that's really good. But, yeah, Copperhead Road has, like, The Devil's Right Hand, the song Copperhead Road. Yeah, I'll get you a little playlist.
Please.
I'll send it over.
Yeah, please.
He's great, man.
I love how psychedelic it is.
Oh, yeah, it's cool. Like, I feel like Steve Earl's like always kind of been like grungy country, you know? Or maybe like later career Steve Earl, because I think Transcendental Blues came out in like 2000. But it's just cool. Like it's I feel like I was saying earlier, I mean, I don't know, I love songwriters, and like he's one of my favorite songwriters, and I just like it's fun covering other people's songs,
Yeah.
songs that you like.
What do you think's probably your favorite part of the creative process, whether it be the songwriting stage, the recording, the releasing, the anything like that?
I mean, I was gonna say playing in the band live, but that's not really a part of the creative process. But I think it kind of is. Like when you realize playing new songs, oh, we got to do something different, or like, oh, we got to like massage this a little bit. Like I love that feeling of like having a song that's finished and like before you record it, realizing like, oh, we can make this better, that kind of thing. Because I'm super bad about not like in writing too. Like I was an English major, like not editing. You know what I mean? Just like finishing a song and being like, that's the song. When like in reality, you bring it to the band, you play it a little bit, and you're like, we could make this better, or like make it different or more interesting or something. And I really like that. Like I've always liked recording, but I just like playing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of the riffs in CannonandtheBoxes songs too, I figured out like in front of crowds. And just because it's like I feel like that's where the pressure's on, and I'm like.
So do you try to write songs almost before you record them, like on stage in a way, like you test them out in the audience, or do you? Oh yeah, usually...
definitely not writing on stage, but testing them out, like anything we've recorded, with the except like we've never played this cover live. We're gonna do it for the first time at the 40 Watt on Saturday.
40 Watt, shout out. This won't be out until after, but still,
they'll know. They'll know that we ripped it.
They'll know
in their heart.
yeah, they'll know.
But just kind of like most things, I feel like we like tightened up live, or like got to the point where we knew how it sounded live and then went in and tracked it, which that's just how my brain works. It's like everything that we tracked, we try to do as live as we could, just the three of us in the room. And sometimes it doesn't work out, sometimes you gotta like piece it out, but it's just, I don't know, I like Gideon and Jordy a lot. They're very good, so I can just be like,
very tight,
you do this.
yeah. I mean, when you have a rhythm section that's just so on it every time, everything else becomes like 100 times easier.
It's so nice. And even like our other friends that like I played at Hendershots last week for a friend's birthday party, and Aiden filled in like last minute, and I think he's only played with me one time, and it was just like boom,
Yeah,
and it's just
Aiden's
nice.
The man.
Like I feel and a good bass player and drummer cannot be underrated.
No,
understated.
Definitely not. You can almost like mess up every guitar part or every vocal part, and it's like.
But if you mess up one bass part, it's like but that.
And it can be weird because a lot of people might not even know why it feels off. It just is.
It's like something is wrong with the foundation.
Right, and they're like, "What is? Why do I not love it as much as I should?" And you're like, "That's probably why."
Bass is stressful, dude. I played bass. I used to play bass with Hotel Fiction a lot more, but I played bass with them.
You just did, recently,
last week at the Basement East, which was so much fun.
Yeah.
We were opening for Flip Turn.
Very cool.
I'd listened to their stuff, but never seen them live, and it was wild.
Nice.
It was a very, very good live show. But, there's a different stress. Like, I've been playing, like, guitar or pedal steel or something. It's, you can kind of noodle, like, find your spot. Mm-hmm. You can't do that on bass, especially with those songs. Like, I want to hit these. You got to hit the ones.
Mm-hmm. You stick with the kick.
It's tough. Yeah, just listen to Gid. I was standing right beside him, and I was like, just looking at his foot, the whole time.
That's funny because I'm the opposite. I'm less stressed on bass than I am on guitar because there's so much more you can do on guitar. There's so many more options.
Yeah, that's fair. How long have you been playing guitar?
Since I was 13 is when I started.
Hell yeah.
But even then, I'm like, nowadays, I'm better at guitar, but I'd stick to the singer-songwriter way of playing.
No,
which
I was
is
talking.
chords
I was talking to Dylan
crazy.
Keel about that. Like, I've never, only very recently am I like, I'm gonna practice soloing. Mm-hmm. Like, pretty much once I got the ability to play along to a song on Ultimate Guitar, I was like, this is all I need.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's. I definitely do a lot more of that now, but I'm still like, I'm not a shredder. You know what I mean? Or I don't try to be a shredder. Sometimes I just play like a goofball because I've had too many Pabst. But
well, yeah, that's fun to kind of mess around, but it's just not my strong suit. And it's funny because I teach guitar to kids, and it's cool, and it's nice because most of them don't know what a C chord is, and I'll teach them all that stuff. But then every once in a while, like I had one 14-year-old, it was a trial lesson, and so they were going to see if it was going to work out. And he came in, he's doing like beautiful Spanish guitar stuff. And by the end, I'm like, yeah, buddy, I think you're going to need to just get a better teacher. Yeah. He's like 14. I'm like, dude, got braces. I'm like, you're much better than me, dude. I'm sorry.
Oh, there's some, I feel like every other day on Instagram, I see a video of someone like a third of my age just like ripping. But I think there's something to be said. Like the dude that I learned guitar from, like, I mean, my dad plays guitar, so like around him. But like when I started taking lessons in like middle school, maybe, also not like I would, there were definitely much more technically better guitar players. But he was just like, yo, here's a John Prine song. We're going to jam on it for 20 minutes. And it's like, I think you need something like that to just get kids stoked on music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which, I mean, everything's different. Like, if a piano teacher's listening, they might be like, because it's got to be all like, but I don't know. Guitar is interesting. It's a goofy instrument. It's very fun to play.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's cool that you teach kids, man. Like I would,
it's fun.
When I was in high school, I taught a couple kids at Montessori, like elementary schoolers, but it was like just us playing Taylor Swift songs. Like there was no like coursework or anything like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Thankfully, they're pretty cool about I choose how I navigate things. They don't like overbear and tell you like, oh no, you got to follow these few things.
That's it.
And they asked me once to like come up with a curriculum, and I did, but I was just like bullshitting the whole thing. I'm like, I mean, and at the end, I had like an asterisk at the end. I was like, this is all based on the student. Like some kids won't get a F chord for like a year.
Yeah, for sure.
Some kids will pick it up in a week. So it's like,
I guess it's like, I remember I taught two students. I don't know how much they learned, so I don't know if I should say student. But one of them was really stoked on it and was practicing, and the other one, I think she only touched her guitar like during the. And
so, right.
I was that kid when I took piano lessons, so like, just it's funny like how. I can't imagine how frustrated my piano teacher was with my act, because I never practiced, dude. Piano, I thought at the time was not rock and roll. Now,
so sick.
I wish I played piano.
Me too.
Yeah. Like I practice piano, not as much as I should, but like I'll go through phases where I'm like, I want to get good at piano because it makes everything so much easier.
Yes, yeah. It makes to me it makes, what's the word? It just makes like the musicality of everything, almost like the theory of everything.
Yeah,
makes
if you can
a little more sense
and like understand your chords. Like I had to take Intro to Music Theory for the MBUS program. And I was like, I don't need this. But like it got to parts about like chord identification and stuff, and I was like, oh, this is wildly helpful.
Yeah.
I should have learned like bare minimum music theory.
Yeah,
I didn't realize ultimate guitar.
Yeah, I didn't realize until this year that all major and minor chords are just like one note different.
You just move the three a little bit. You just take the three down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and just like I feel like if you can get like a command of like that stuff and like dominant minor major sevenths and stuff like that, you can just really like elevate your writing. But then some people, I don't know what Elijah's theory knowledge is, but some people just write the crazy stuff without even knowing it. Like some people, I was like reading it was like some Facebook musician thread, but it was about how like some people like pop musicians just kind of like fall into crazy theory stuff, you know?
Right.
Like people that without were never classically trained. Yeah, without knowing. Just an interesting thought of like accidentally doing the stuff that people study like music theory for years to do.
Yeah, that's like all Paul McCartney.
Yeah, Paul McCartney was the example in this.
There you go.
Like he wasn't classically
trained. He has no idea what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's like making up the craziest bass lines. He's insane. I love that guy.
Dude, he's such a good bass player. Like,
I mean, I wouldn't say underrated because people know, but people think of him as the best songwriter, the best bass, or the best singer, and then or the best songwriter, and nobody thinks about like the fact that he's one of the best bass players of all time.
Yeah, he's a phenomenal bass player, and I mean, just what a guy, still kicking. I want to see him. I want to see him live.
I got to see him with my dad.
How was it? Please,
amazing,
dude.
It was like
in
5 years ago. It was
You've been all over the place. I can't assume Atlanta, dude.
Right, yeah. It was like outside of Atlanta, though. I forgot the name of it. Gwinnett, maybe? The Gwinnett Arena or something.
One of the big ones.
Yeah. And it was insane. I mean, it was just wild to see all these songs that you've grown up with sang by the actual
that's
guy.
so sick.
You know?
And I'm sure his band was like phenomenal.
Yeah, he's had that same drummer for forever.
That's so cool.
The bald guy. And he closed with Live and Let Die.
Oh,
with
yeah.
Pyrotechnics.
Man,
and all
I
that.
love so many of his like post Beatles songs, you know? Like Wings, all that stuff's great.
It's a great song.
Do, do, do. Yeah, it's awesome. You said you went with your dad?
Sorry?
You said you go with your dad?
Yeah.
That's baller. That's a great dad concert.
Yeah, and he took me to go see Bruce too.
Oh,
It's
God, I wanna
like
see-
two great dad concerts.
Dude, I wanted to see. I was in New York when I was on like a church trip at the time when the like Broadway musical came out.
Oh, that he
That
did.
he
Bruce
did, and
yeah.
I didn't get to go see it, but I want to see that. Like I watched it on Netflix.
I was gonna say it is on
It's
Netflix.
so good. He's just
Wild.
I'm a big Bruce Springsteen fan. We
Me
went
too.
we played a show in Asbury Park, New Jersey this summer.
Oh,
Which
cool.
is like his town, you
Yeah.
know. And we played a Springsteen cover, and the owner of the bar was just like, everybody does that.
I was like gonna say, did he like it or did he not?
I don't think
feel
well, dude, the crowd liked it. The 30 people, the small amount of people. No, it was fun, but it was funny because it was like
What song?
we played Atlantic City.
Love it.
A
Dude,
great
that's
song.
one of my favorites.
Dude, yeah, that the Nebraska, like the demo record, the tape recorded record. Oh, that was
Insane.
Got me into Bruce Springsteen. So good.
That was the one that got you into him? That's wild.
Yeah, I mean, it's very like I had heard the other stuff, you know what I mean? I'd listened
Right.
to like his hits and like The River and shit, but like yeah, my dad gave me a copy of that record on CD, like maybe right like after I got a Tascam, like the 414, the 4-track like recording guy, and he was like, this record was made on one of those. And I was like,
Whoa.
no, you're joking. And yeah, I mean, it's cool to hear like Bruce Springsteen in his living room playing mandolin and just ooh,
Right.
like making weird noises.
Limited to 4 tracks.
It's so sick. Yeah, oh yeah, I love recording on those things for that reason. Just like taking the process down, you got to make choices. It's very cool.
It is cool when you don't have as many options or opportunities to get crazy with it.
Oh, it's so easy to go crazy. Like in the box, dude. Endless tracks. No, I love having the limitation of 4, and
It forces creativity.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's and you just like there's something about the way that like the tactile nature of like you're not like diving through like menus. You're kind of just like
Yeah. The like
I'm
1,000
also
different snares
terrible
you
at
could use.
Yeah, I'm just like looking for like the right hi-hat. Like I don't know. I love recording. It's super fun, but I also get super intimidated by because I mean it's like you watch like somebody like Tommy or like I was at Chase Park the other day just like sitting in on a session and like Barbie is a wizard. You know what I mean? Just like a hit would be off and just immediately and it's like perfectly like back and it's just I'm so far from that. You know what I mean? I'm like in GarageBand because I let my Pro Tools subscription lapse. So like in GarageBand the recording game is not my game, but I love it. Like I love experimenting with sounds and stuff.
It's super fun. And you mentioned earlier about the MBUS program at UGA. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I certainly don't know much and could be interesting for anybody who is curious about it to hear about your experience.
Well, so when I first came to college, I was like, I didn't think I was going to pass accounting, which is a requirement for MBUS.
Oh, for real? It's a requirement?
You don't have to take real accounting. No offense to the professors of my class, but it's like the survey of accounting. Like, it's supposed to be like an easier class.
Yeah.
And I was also just so concerned with like playing shows and experimenting with things that they did not have in Rome, Georgia, where I grew up. So I was like, I was like just a goofy college student for a little bit. But the MBUS program, it's like you got to take, like I mentioned, like intro to music business, some sort of, or intro to music theory, some sort of like history class. Like I took rock and roll history, which was a phenomenal course. Honestly, a little bit harder than I would have thought it was. Like I think I made a B, but a great class. And so you have all these prerequisites that kind of like lead into taking like a 2-semester class. Like I'm in the first one right now. The last class that I take in college will be the second one next semester because I just kind of timed it wrong. Okay. But it's just like a general overview of the music business, kind of like bird's eye view. Because I mean, there's no way there's no way you could talk about all of it in 2 classes, 3 classes, 4 classes. But it's kind of like, here's like a history of the music industry at large. Here's a history of like record labels, and here's how like publishing works, and just kind of like a little bit of everything. And also like, we put on those concerts at Nucci Space. We for the class, like, you have an internship. Like, some people are interning at like, publishing companies or magazines or like studios. Like, Patrick is interning with Patrick, which is super funny because I'm like,
cool.
You track here? Like, what
yeah.
But it's super cool. It's like a kind of like twofold: taking classes to learn about it, reading like everything you need to know about the music business, so like Donald Passman textbook and talking about it, and then also like real world. Like, we're gonna have like Patterson Hood from the Drive By Truckers came and like gave a talk, and I'm a massive Drive By Truckers fan. And it's just cool to have real people like in the industry that are like, I hate using that word, in the industry.
Yeah, in the industry.
But it's like, we all want jobs, dog. Like,
right.
Whether it's like, I would say the minority of people in that class are in bands. Like, a lot of them are. Like, at least like a quarter of the people. But just as many people like want to be like booking agents or managers. Right. And then like, when I did that tour with Susto this year, we got to LA. I've been so excited to play the Troubadour. Crazy stage.
You played the Troubadour?
I played pedal steel with Susto. So
that's
Susto
right.
played the Troubadour. Wow. I have not played the Troubadour.
One of these days, though.
We'll get manifesting. There. Yeah. Dude, I'm going to have a beard, though, by then. Just wait.
Dude,
I think it'll be that far away.
Yeah.
But in a good way. But no, like, we get there, and like the GM at the Troubadour is an MBUS grad. Like,
whoa.
She like knew, like, she'd taken Barbie's classes, and they knew each other and stuff. And she, like, we went out to get dinner. Yeah, like, it's a sick fucking program. Like, I'm trying, like, Annie Leith. Right. She was an MBUS kid. Tommy. Like, Elijah.
There you go.
Like, everybody. I mean, it's just cool to like, have some sort of basis. Because especially, like, when I first started doing, more, like, tour managing, trying to get into that world, it's just so big. And I was like, I have no idea what any of this is. So it's really cool to have, like, classes that can kind of, like, tell you what to do, Yeah,
it's like a guide, like a roadmap.
Yeah. And then it's like, I think everybody finds their niche in there, and they're like, oh, this is what I want to do more of. Like, it's not a super in-depth in terms of, like, specifics, but it is. There's a lot of, like, really, really great information. I'm not trying to discount it, but, if you got a kid that's like, I want to be a manager, then they can kind of, like, go on their own and figure out. I don't know, I've just met so many sick people in that class, too. Like, the front row of that class is, like, Garrett Chermonte, I think is how you say his last name. I don't want to fuck it up. But he does, like, Clear Mountain Entertainment. He, like, manages, like, Whim and Red Rhino Road and stuff. Cool. It's, like, him, AG, me.
I think I just saw some article about him recently, which is how I heard about him.
Talented dude. He's, like, they did, like, the Classic City Festival or whatever downtown. Like, I think they're putting on another festival. He's just, I don't know. It's cool to see people, like, in that class that are, because it's all ages. Like, I'm 22. I think AG and him are probably around my age, but there's like, 18, 19-year-olds.
Right.
But it's just sick, man. It's cool to see people trying to, like, really do the thing. Because I feel like, like I was saying earlier, I feel like so much time in music, I was just, like, guessing, I was like, I don't know what to do. Like, I didn't even know that I didn't even know tour managing was a job. And then I started tour managing, So it's cool to have, like, people... Like
that sounds so stressful, dude.
It was very stressful.
Yeah,
I loved it.
That is not an easy job.
No, I mean it. I got really lucky in that the dudes I was working for were awesome. You know what I mean? So I didn't have any. I would hate to be a tour manager and get pressure from the band or have beef there, because at that point it's like you're living in a van with dudes that you don't get along with. That sounds terrible.
Yeah, and you have to do all their shit for them.
Yeah, or just enough to keep the
train
rail
going.
Greased, keep it moving,
Yeah.
But I mean, somebody's got to do it, especially like, at the level that, like, me and my friends tour. Like, I'm going to Colombia right after this.
Right.
I don't need a tour manager. I'm gonna drive over there,
right, and
then drive back. But when you have an operation that's like 5 people with their own schedules, with their own jobs, also, like. Half the band was, like, freelancing, like, doing, like, graphic design and stuff like that. It's just, like, you want to be the guy that you don't want them to have questions. You want to have everything. Like, where are we staying? What's the Wi-Fi? Are there showers at the venue? Is there going to be food? Like, everything just needs to be. It sounds really basic, but just like you want to avoid the need for them to.
There's probably so many things you would not even think about that need to be taken care of.
I still would say like not say that I'm good at it. Like when you see like real tour managers work, like kind of like higher, like when we'd be at festivals and I would see, like I had a really cool conversation with Jason Isbell's old tour manager.
Oh, cool.
I want to say his name was Ben. I think it was. That's terrible that I'm gonna get. He doesn't work for him anymore. So no, but he was just like, there's a situation where the band was Susto was playing and like the catering ended during their set and it was across the festival grounds. And I was like, oh, they're not going to get food. I got to figure this out. Like, I got to get food for him. And he just he was like, you go up there, you tell him, you know, and he just walked into the kitchen and was just like, we need this. And was not being rude, but was being very like, you just have to know what you want. And like, there's so many little things. Yeah. Like, I mean, like I learned how to roll the perfect joints for the boys. You know what I mean? Like,
you know the thickness that each one of them wants.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, you know, also serious shit. Like, you know, like, where on the settlement sheet they're gonna try to fudge some numbers, you know. Like, so you got to do that stuff too. Like there was, I didn't goof up too much, but there was one show where like after the fact I realized that like the like walk up tickets, like day of show tickets, weren't counted on the settlement, which was like that's a couple $100, you know, like, or more than a couple $100. And so it was just like things like that, you know. You're also responsible for making sure that all
you gotta shake down the owner.
And I think too, because I was young and like a lot of times venue owners are old, and I love people that are willing to like make the horrible financial decision of running rock clubs. Like, I respect you because we need those. But sometimes you get the old guy that's like, I can take a couple $100 off this kid, and it's like, yeah, you probably can because I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm trying to get better.
Oh, and so like sleazy, dude.
And it's the minority, man. I feel like so much, or just in my experience, so many times you see people talk about touring, like hall fees are always a massive debate on like Twitter and like Reddit and stuff, and people are like venues are evil, and it's like I agree, like taking like 20%, 10% of merch.
That's
from
absurd
bands.
that
It is
anyone
absurd.
would ever do that.
But it's and like the venues that we play don't, you know what I mean? Like 40 Watt, Flicker, they don't. Nah, they're cool. But yeah, like you do encounter that at like nearly every like theater sized room, and it sucks. But it's
so gross.
It's also just like, man, sometimes like it's just the game, you know. I feel like it's not that I'm excusing venues taking that stuff, but it's like I feel like so many times. Like, it's not as bad as people seem. Like, there's so many times a guy would come to settle with me, would ask about it, and I'd be like, we didn't do that well tonight, lying about merch. Or I would make a fake settlement sheet and be like, you know, we sold half of what we sold. And they're not going to question it. Like, I feel like the vast majority of venues are not out to screw over artists. Like, they're just is what it is, you know?
Yeah.
You just got to be a little sneaky.
It's kind of weird there's not like a union or something that can be like, hey, that's definitely not okay. Like you have no part of this merch production, anything.
Yeah, for sure.
What
and I know
you think you can.
Most of them
we're not taking part of the bar.
Exactly. That's
cash.
So many bands use that.
You know?
Like we're not. Yeah. Well, and it's like, is 20% because it's standard like 20%. I guess some places are lower, but like that's the cut for just setting up here. Like, just put our shit outside by the van. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, and a lot of people do different things to get around it. But, and also a lot of venues will only charge it on soft merch. Like, they're not charging for, like, vinyl, CD. They're not trying to take off recorded music, which is, I don't know. I think we'll see stuff like that change. I don't know. I'm, like, not well enough read on it. But, like, in the wake of all the Ticketmaster stuff like that, there's, like, the musicians union that I've seen on, like, Instagram people have been posting about.
Right. Interesting.
Not really well versed on my stuff here, but
there may be some whiffs of it going around.
I think we'll see. I think we'll see like some sort of change, man. Like, it's just like the whole record business is very strange. So I'm like hoping that as we like people our age kind of come into more like positions of power in the industry, that shit can kind of get shifted up.
Yeah, I agree.
But we'll see. I don't know. The thing is, all of my friends that do this are too stubborn to not do it. So it's like whatever happens is going to happen.
Right. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, you got to tour if you can.
Yeah.
And if you can play those bigger theaters.
That's how you got to tour, though. Or it sucks that you have to tour to do the thing, because it's like, that used to not be the thing. Like, you used to put the record out, and that was where the money was, and you would tour to support the record. And now it's like...
Yeah, I'm curious how things are going to go, because it seems like everyday record labels are less and less important in certain ways.
Yeah, that's fair.
But because, like, how many people end up blowing up on TikTok? Now, maybe it's not long-lasting, but someone like Lil Nas X, you know, they put out this one song.
That guy's a genius, though. Genius. Like, books will be written about... I don't think anybody's done what he did in terms of turn a one-hit wonder into, like, a viable career. That shit's crazy.
It's amazing what he's done. And I think, obviously, he's a genius, so it's almost impossible for anybody to do something quite like that. But I think that really shined a light on what artists can do without the support of a huge label.
Well, I think, too, it's like labels still... Because, like, when somebody blows up on TikTok, that, like, labels will grab them and be like, all right, we're going to... But I don't think labels are doing the, like, building of artists that they used to do. Like, you hear about, David Barbie in our class talks about, like... And just, like, people that have been in the industry for a while talk about, like, you know, bands used to put out, like, 4 records that would flop on a major label, and then the 5th one hit it big. You know what I mean? Like, you don't... Like, I feel like now it's, like, labels are still kind of important, or very important, but they're not, like, doing the, like, artist developing that they used to do, you know?
Yeah.
Like, labels will put out a band's debut record, and if it doesn't go well, they're just like, all right, well... part ways, like, have a good one, you know?
Yeah.
Which is just like...
It's more of just like a roll of the dice.
Yeah, it's like, let's see if this hits, and if it doesn't, you're out of here. Which, I mean, I'm sure it's always been like that. Like, I don't know.
To a degree.
I don't know shit about getting record deals, but, like, it's interesting to see that, like, you know, so many people that I talk to are like, yeah, like, it's not like it used to be. Like, if you don't put a record out that hits, you're out of here. Which is just... That's a lot of pressure. I can't imagine... trying to, I mean, I would like to be there one day, but it just seems like such a stressful endeavor, like trying to, you know, really in that field put a record out. Like imagine being a top 40 country artist.
It would be
awesome,
sleep. But also stressful.
I wouldn't sleep. I'd be so stressed.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, and that's a different lane, country music.
Oh, yeah.
Like that whole Nashville music scene seems so...
Have you ever lived in Nashville?
I haven't. I
like
almost went to Belmont. Actually.
I was too broke, but I almost I applied to Belmont and wanted to go there. But I think you would do well in Nashville.
Expensive.
It's so expensive.
Yeah.
It's so expensive. And I get
I know so many people that went and did the same thing I was going to do and dropped out.
That's the thing.
They didn't want to do it.
I know a lot of people, like some of my really good friends are current students there because they're a little bit younger than me. But like, yeah, not all, don't want to generalize, but a lot of people I know that are really talented and are doing cool shit dropped out, you know? And dude, I just couldn't. That's a lot of debt to be traveling around. Luckily, I got the Zell Miller scholarship here.
Shout out to Zell Miller.
Yeah, I don't think he's a good dude anymore, but
is he alive?
I don't know, but I think I think he got anti-Semitic at the end.
Oh,
like as an old man. So
yeah,
I appreciate your money.
Why is that such an old man thing?
Dude. Apparently, it's just a thing now.
I guess so.
It's in vogue again, which is terrifying.
I know, dude.
But yeah, like we completely derailed what I was.
I know we totally went down.
That's rough. Now I'm just thinking about Kanye.
I know. Oh,
but record deals.
But we're just talking about like college, like people go
college, dude. Yeah. Thank you so much. I'm all over the place. Yeah, Belmont, man. I mean, would it have been cool to go there? Yeah. I have nothing against it. I think it probably worked out better for me.
$60,000 a year, or whatever it is.
No. Not unless you graduate and like immediately. Right. I was gonna make a Nashville joke, like Brad Paisley, like.
Right.
I don't know, man.
It hands you a golden belt buckle and you're
exactly. It's cool though. Like and I'm sure the resources there are phenomenal, you know? But yeah, I don't know. If I ever live in Nashville, I think I'm glad it wasn't when I was like 18. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't think I would have been ready for that city at that age. I don't think I'm ready for it now. Just being there last week.
Yeah, it's a whole machine. Oh yeah, you were just there.
I get so stressed every time I go there, dude. And I love it. Like some of my best friends live in Nashville.
It's a cool place.
It's sick, but it's just you lived in LA? Mm-hmm. I was only in LA for like 3 days, and it was way less scarier to me, like in terms of talking to strangers, than Nashville.
Whoa.
It felt less pretentious. Like,
wow,
which
that's
is
interesting.
It could just be that I was, again, only there for 3 days, and I don't know. I got a nice guy at the Coffee Bean, you know.
Right.
But
Right.
I don't know. It was just, and it's all in my head. There's no reason, you know what I mean? Like, there's no reason to be stressed about a location. But it's Music City. It's country. It eats you up and spits you out.
Right. Yeah, I would imagine that place is just a total machine. I've been to Nashville a handful of times, but never for like a long period of time. And actually not really since I've been over like 22, 23. So it's been a while since I've been. I do want to go back. It'd be fun to play some sort of show there.
Dude, it's cool. And like I feel like people, me included, are always like, I get so stressed playing there. But like for every group of people that's just like musicians staring at you, there's a dude who's gonna come up afterward and be like, that was so much fun. Like,
yeah, that's cool.
There's a lot of really, really sick people there. And all the venue staff that I've like encountered there are really nice. It's cool. It's just like, it's all up here. You know what I mean? It doesn't help that I play pedal steel, and that's like pedal steel town. You know what I mean? So it's like the dude at Waffle House is better at me than pedal steel. Like,
dude, no, you rock at pedal steel.
Oh, dude, it's fun. I'm trying to figure it out. I played like with AG at Hendershots, and Pistol was there, and I was like,
who's that?
He's the guy that plays with Faye, and he plays with Cracker. He's a phenomenal player, like insanely good pedal steel player. And I was like, I saw him and I was like, AG, I'm calling in sick. I got to go home. Like, I don't want to play in front of
this guy. It's not happening today.
But yeah, dude, he's super nice. Like, I really want to try to start like just like taking lessons, like talking to him about it. Because it's one of those things, like, I've been just guessing. So I would love to like sit down with somebody and have them be like, this is what I do. Because there's not really a right way to do it. Everybody kind of sets theirs up a little bit differently.
Mm-hmm. But get a few tricks.
Yeah, and that's the guy to get him from. Right. You know what I mean? He's so good. I mean, all the steel parts on Faye songs are like pristine.
Insane.
You know? Yeah, and that's all.
Her recordings are like,
yeah, it's really sick. They've been good too. Mm-hmm. Like that record, the record like with the bicycle. You know what I'm talking about? That was made.
I think it was Atlanta Millionaires Club or something. Is that one?
It might have been the one before that one. It might have just been called Faye Webster.
You're right. Yeah.
But that record was tracked at Gracie Huffman's old house.
No way.
Like here in town. Like Matt Martin recorded it in a house in Athens. And it still sounds amazing. Yeah. You know? Like,
shout out to Matt Martin. I had him on the show earlier this year. He's insane.
Dude, I gotta listen to that episode.
Yeah, I called it Wander Wild, but it was just
him.
Matt.
Hell yeah. Well, there's no boxes here today.
Right, no boxes. Just
flying
Cannon.
Solo, dude.
Cannon in the boxes.
I have some good boxes.
I know you got to get going soon to go head up to Columbia. I always do a last 5, where I just do 5 quick questions and we're done. So if you're humor me, we'll fly through these.
I'm ready.
Number 1, I think I already know the answer. In the studio, we're playing live.
It's got to be live.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
I love the studio, but I love playing live so much.
Nice. So in the studio, we're playing live. We got live. Number 2, perfect album, front or back? Front to back.
This is close.
Yeah.
This is a close one.
I don't like Radio Cures. I'll skip Radio Cures.
If you skip it, it can't be a perfect album. That's the. I think that's part of it. I got to agree. Like, it might not be there. I got to say, Sticky Fingers by the Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
I've been listening. I mean, I love that record. Been listening to it a lot lately.
That's a great
No skips for me.
It took me a long time to like get into the Rolling Stones, other than the hits, and that album is what got me into them.
It's so good. Mm-hmm. It's so good. And like, it's like goofy, you know, at times. Like Mick Jagger singing in like a fake country accent. I love it.
So
no
funny.
notes, dude. Probably that Sticky Fingers, Blonde on Blonde by Bob Dylan, which both of those are dad records, but they're good.
That's all good, dude. We love dad records, dad concerts too. Okay, number 3, dream artist or producer to work with.
Oh man, Jeff Tweedy, like,
of course,
easy. But
I got his book right here, actually.
Yeah, I have read that one. I haven't read his songwriting book, and I
have that one too.
How to Write One Song. I got to read that book. But
I haven't finished either. I'm gonna be honest,
dude. I'm the worst. I read like the first third of a book, and then I'm just like, another book.
Yeah,
so,
me too.
Yeah. But yeah, Tweedy. I would love to work with him just because he like he's producing the new Rodney Crowell record. that's coming out on New West. He produced like a Casey and Clayton record a little bit ago. Like just being, I don't know where he tracks. Being in the Wilco loft, having that
So
guy,
cool.
I'm done, dude. Send me to heaven the next day, dude.
Knowing all the ghosts of the music that they made are just hanging around in there.
And just like we were saying, like somebody that can make for like 20, 30 years relevant music, that's a guy
Insane.
I would love to work with. Because their old late career stuff is awesome too. Like,
Right.
It would be cool. He'd probably kick my ass a little bit.
He seems really cool though. He seems really nice.
Yeah, but he seems like the kind of guy.
Yeah,
like he'd be fun, but he'd be like, you need to take this very seriously.
Yeah. I thought of two people I'd love to see you work with at some point. One, Blake Mills.
Oh God,
would be gnarly.
The best guitar player alive.
Insane. Yeah,
so good.
He's awesome. And then Dave Cobb from Nashville.
I can't argue with either of those.
That'd be great,
dude. Yeah, I mean, Dave Cobb has made some really crazy records. Like he did the Isbell records, right? Like
I think so. Yeah. He's done so many. I saw because I literally just looked up producer of Rival Sons.
There you go.
Because I was like, that's who I picture, and it was Dave Cobb. I'm like, of course it is.
Hell yeah, yeah. He's a big one. But yeah, dude, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Blake Mills. Oh,
Blake Mills is gnarly. Question number 4: what's on your musical rotation right now?
Yesterday, I had to write a marketing research paper, so I needed. But I was like, I can't remember how I stumbled onto it, but I misspelled something in Spotify, and Professor Longhair came up. He was like New Orleans, like jazz guy, like predecessor to like Fats Domino or whatever. I'm just saying his Spotify bio. I don't listen to this kind of music, but that was surprisingly gnarly. Just like ragtimey New Orleans piano. Love that.
Interesting.
Been listening to that a lot recently. And also, I mean, like, kind of, it's late 2022, so kind of doing the best of record thing.
Right.
That Band of Horses record, Things Are Great, that came out this year is phenomenal. The MJ Linderman record is phenomenal. I've been listening to that a bunch.
Is he kind of country?
Yeah, he's dude.
Yeah, I know that name.
Definitely check his. I feel like you would like it. It's like early Wilco almost. Like some of the songs are just him and pedal steel, and some of the songs are like fuzzed out, like pavement-y sounding.
Love it.
Really, really good record. He's playing here tonight.
Oh,
fun fact.
No way.
Yeah, dude. He's playing at World Famous tonight, like late night tonight, solo. You should go for sure. I gotta be in Columbia, but
yeah.
I think it's just him and his pedal steel player Zandy that are playing.
Okay, I got
that
nothing
wrong.
to do, dude. Maybe I'll go check it out.
I saw him at Flickr like a couple months ago, and I mean, also
is he from around here?
No, he's from Asheville. But like Pitchfork reviewed his record. He got Best New Music in Pitchfork like a couple months ago for I think Boat Music is the name of the record.
Okay,
I've just been like listening to the singles, or like listen to the songs. I don't want to get the record name wrong, but so good. I don't know. It's like Pine Grove, but even grungier. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And he's such a good writer. He's got such a good voice. If you're free, definitely check him out. At World
I'll listen
Famous.
to him today and then probably just go check.
Dude, all the people that are watching, they're like, we missed all the shows.
I know you missed all of them.
I should have
there will be more.
Flagpole for like a couple weeks from now shows.
Right.
And like, go to this one.
Exactly. All right, last question, because I know you got to go. Favorite decade of music, and then what's the worst decade of music?
Dude, worst decade of music, whatever disco was. Like,
No, I guess it's late '70s, like '78.
Yeah, dude, I don't even need to know. Like, I don't know. I mean, if they tainted the Rolling Stones made a disco record.
Yeah,
like or
Kiss
wore the stuff.
Kiss made a disco record.
So whatever that was, like whatever collective brand of cocaine was going through a musician, like a music corporation guy's brains at the time, really is insane.
It was such a bubble too. It was like 2 years and then that disco was a thing, and then nobody ever wanted to.
It's like
hear
grunge,
it again.
You know what I mean? Like grunge, and then. But
so weird.
The best decade, dude. I got to be an optimist and say, right now. You know what I mean? Like a lot of great. Bob Dylan's my favorite. The '70s, you got the Grateful Dead at their peak. Mm-hmm. Bob Dylan at his peak in like '75. CSNY, a lot of great music, but like. I would choose to believe the best is yet to be created. You know what I mean? Like, that MJ Linderman record is legitimately one of my favorite records that I've ever heard. And it came out this year. Boat Music, by MJ.
The MJ Linderman.
Yeah. I mean, dude, if it's not called that, embarrassing. But you know what I mean? Like, especially like, tying it back to Athens, like how many people are like, REM is the best band. Yeah,
right.
They are. Duh. But like, I would like to be more focused on like the 18-year-olds that are jamming at Nucci Space. You know, like just want to be looking forward. You know. Yeah. Also, we have all the other times now. If we were living in the 70s, we wouldn't have Spotify.
Nope.
I'm not trying to like support Spotify because a lot of people got different opinions, but like we have access we have access to all the music in the world, dude. Like, that's pretty cool.
You can't complain about that.
No, and so maybe next decade. That's the best decade of music.
2020's baby.
Yeah, dude.
We're coming for you. Well, Cannon Rogers from CannonandtheBoxes, thank you for joining me. It's been a blast getting to talk with you. Everybody needs to listen to your Steve Earl cover, which is out now as you're listening, as well as Classic City Celebrity, which I wanted to talk about, but we ran out of time, and I love that song. It's probably my favorite.
Thank you so much, man.
But yeah, Steve Earl cover is amazing, and thank you for coming on, man. It's been a blast.
Thanks, brother. Dude, that's the like, we'll be right back.
Yeah. Exactly. And we're out.
All the songs I make, it's sung right back to me.
Thank you again for joining me for another episode of On That Note with Parker Whirling. If you haven't yet, please make sure to like and subscribe on YouTube and Apple Podcasts, and you can even leave a comment down below to let me know who you're listening to. On that note, I'll see you guys next time.